to see Dad.
Yeah, when's he coming down? Did you call him yet? Oh. You know what I just thought of?
Huh?
Is when we used to live in Richfield, I would walk down to the school when I was a real little kid.
Uh-huh.
Up to the playground, you know, with that summer playground where they had those crafts and that.
Oh,
And those
yeah.
weeds that I'd walk down through there and with all those weeds. And they had just I don't know why, they had kind of a pretty smell.
Uh-huh. That used to be kind of neat. We could always walk to school.
Oh, what are these? These red things, are those potatoes?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember Dad. Oh, there's little melons. I remember Dad. I wonder if he didn't put it in a garden this
He used
year.
to really have good
I
onions.
had about a 20-pound bag or a 50-pound bag of his potatoes. I used them all winter long.
He used to grow the best onions. Remember that?
Yeah. He's kind of got a green thumb.
He used to put on that great big straw hat and go out in the garden.
That tiller
Yeah,
is just about as big as him.
I know. He's starting to get his sense of humor back, and for so long he just, he would hardly even talk. I see him staring ahead a lot or just kind of looking into something. And I'll be talking to him, and it's like he's preoccupied, with looking at something, and he's not hearing, what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden he'll look up and say, "What?" You can tell that he's, his mind is someplace else. And some of the things he talks about, too, are real unrealistic, But I have a real hard time understanding, what's going on in his thoughts, how these things, come up in his thought life, And I think that probably is the most stressful for me to put up with,
Is it what he says, or it's the fact that he's saying it?
Both.
Steve, have you been hospitalized since you left Los Angeles?
Yeah, last October.
Tell me how come that happened?
Well, I was having hallucinations, and they were getting to the point where I was getting some pretty serious thoughts about suicide. I mean, I had a real deep feeling inside of me, like maybe I should. I mean, it's just scared the heck out of me. I went right to the hospital. Anyways, so my doctor put me on this 800 milligrams and some sleeping pills. So I went for about another week or so, and then it just started all over again. I mean, it gets to the point where there's no relief. I mean, like if you have a job, you go home, you can work 8 hours, you go home and you feel peaceful, relaxed, you can be with your family and that. But there's no relief, and it's still like that. Every place I go, I hear voices or thoughts or something disturbing my mind, and so it gets kind of bad. So I was feeling like that, and I went back again, and then they put me in the hospital.
Boy, some of these are so tough.
Yeah.
I have been afraid of him a few times when he's been off his medicine. One time he drove up here unexpectedly at maybe 10:30 at night. And he came in the back porch, and he wouldn't go any further. He just stood there, and his eyes were so glassy and starey. And every now and then he'd snicker, he'd laugh a little bit, and that really scared me. I just couldn't figure out what he was thinking, or if he was going to, do some harm to me, or what his thoughts were. And his looks, it looked like he had been unkept for many days. His hair was not brushed. His beard was scraggly. He had a rope around his waist, for a belt. And, it was really just, he was really in bad shape. Mm-hmm. And I told him he'd have to leave because I didn't really want him staying here because I was afraid of him. And
what were you afraid of? He looked very freaky, but what were you afraid of?
Well, I was afraid, you hear things about, schizophrenia, and their behavior is so bizarre.